Owning pets has many benefits, like relieving loneliness and adding joy to our lives because they are so cute. But not many people know that in critical moments, pets can potentially transform into heroes and save our lives. Simon Stigg is a civil engineer. One night in 2004, after having a meal, he lay down on his bed and soon dozed off. At the time, Simon's wife thought he was just tired and continued tidying up in the kitchen. Suddenly, their pet rabbit started jumping frantically on Simon, which made his wife realize something was wrong. She quickly rushed him to the hospital, where it was discovered that Simon had lost consciousness. His wife, who was an emergency room nurse, felt guilty for not noticing anything wrong with him. Instead, it was their rabbit, with the intelligence of a 2-year-old child, that sensed danger and tried to alert her. It was incredible. And this isn't the only case of animals helping humans. There have been reports of animals detecting their owners' illnesses, like cancer or COVID-19, and successfully alerting them. Some pets have even witnessed their owners being murdered and tried to inform the police about the culprit. Could it be that animals are smarter than we think? Or perhaps they have some innate ability to foresee diseases? In 1998, in Pennsylvania, USA, there was a case where a pet pig saved a life. Joan Ottersman, a 61-year-old retiree, usually enjoyed fishing at a nearby lake with her husband. But on August 4, 1998, she wasn't feeling well and decided to stay home alone to rest. Unexpectedly, she had a heart attack and collapsed to the ground. She tried to call for help, but no one noticed. At that moment, their pet pig, Lulu, slowly walked up to her and made a crying sound. Soon after, Lulu turned and left Joan. Joan thought her time had come, but just as she was about to give up, someone knocked on her door. Lulu had squeezed through the pet door, injuring herself in the process and leaving a trail of blood. After finally getting out, Lulu broke through the gate and went to the road to seek help. A passing driver noticed a pig on the road and stopped to check. Seeing Lulu injured and the gate open, the driver instinctively went to check the house and found Joan in need of help. Thanks to the doctor's timely intervention, Joan recovered. The doctor told her that if they had been 15 minutes later, it might have been too late. Lulu's heroic act made headlines across America, and many media outlets covered the story. Normally, pigs have the intelligence of a 3 to 4-year-old child, but Lulu remained calm in a crisis and found a way to get help for her owner. It was truly remarkable. Even more surprising is that some animals can seek justice for their owners. In May 2015, in a quiet neighborhood in Michigan, USA, gunshots were heard. A woman frantically called the police, and when they arrived, they found the man of the house, Martin Duran, lying dead in a pool of blood. The woman kept screaming, "Someone killed my husband." She claimed that an intruder had broken in, and her husband had died trying to protect himself. Since she had injuries, the police considered her the second victim and took her to the hospital. However, during their investigation, the police couldn't find any signs of a break-in, only an anxious parrot at the scene. At that time, animal communication was gaining popularity in the USA, so the police brought in an animal communicator to see if they could get more clues. After communicating with the parrot, it started mimicking the couple's arguments and even spoke in Martin's voice, saying, "Don't shoot, don't shoot, don't shoot." Although US law doesn't accept animal testimony, the parrot's behavior broke down the wife's defenses, and she eventually confessed to the crime. In 2014, a horrifying murder case occurred in Agra, India. A woman was found dead in her home with unexplained stab wounds. Initially, The police found no valuable clues until the woman's family noticed that whenever her nephew was mentioned, their parrot became agitated and would say something that implied, "He's the one who did it." Sure enough, the murder weapon was later found at the nephew's house. In 2005, a French woman who owned an art store was found hanged in her home. Since there were no signs of forced entry, the police ruled it a suicide. However, the family didn't believe this and managed to get the case reopened 2 years later. With the family's insistence, the police allowed the woman's pet dog, Scooby, to interact with the suspects. Then, something amazing happened. When placed in front of the suspects, Scooby growled angrily at only one person. The police then searched the suspect's home and found the victim's belongings, leading to the arrest of the murderer. This event caused a stir at the time. Even after 2 years, Scooby still remembered who had hurt his owner, making him the first dog in French history to testify in court based on his sense of smell. Interestingly, it's been found that dogs can do more than just identify murderers. They can even detect diseases. Nancy Best, a single mother, worked hard to run a successful cafe in the USA while raising 3 children. One day, after a busy morning, she sat down to take a break when her pet dog, Mia, suddenly started licking her chest. At first, Nancy thought Mia was just being affectionate, so she patted her head and asked her to stop. But the next night, when Nancy was about to sleep, Mia did something strange again. Nancy said that Mia usually wouldn't jump on her, but that night she did and kept nudging her chest. The next moment, Nancy felt a slight pain where Mia had nudged her. When she instinctively touched the spot, she found a lump. After seeing a doctor, she was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. The doctor told her that if it had been detected later, the cancer might have spread to her lymph nodes, putting her life at risk. This incident caught the attention of veterinarian Marty Becker, who recalled a 1989 report in The Lancet about a pet dog that kept licking its owner's foot, only for the owner to later discover they had skin cancer. With more cases like this emerging, some researchers began investigating this phenomenon. They discovered that dogs possess an extraordinary talent. In 2006, American research institutions conducted experiments on dogs' sense of smell. Before the experiments, researchers hypothesized that dogs could detect the scent of hormones secreted by cancer cells. They prepared 8 urine samples, one of which was from a prostate cancer patient. After training, the dogs identified the cancerous sample with a 90% success rate. For breast cancer, the accuracy was 88%, and for lung cancer, it was 93%. These results shocked many researchers. Typically, tumor detection involves collecting tumor samples, but dogs could detect cancer through smell without invasive procedures and with such high accuracy. Isn't that astonishing? Later, experts found that dogs have 300 million olfactory receptors compared to humans, who have about 6 million. This means that a dog's sense of smell is at least 50 times more sensitive than a human's. Some studies show that trained dogs can detect substances at a concentration of 1 part per trillion, equivalent to 1 drop of liquid in 20 Olympic-sized swimming pools. No wonder dogs are there to check for drugs at the airport. It's now known that besides breast cancer, lung cancer, and skin cancer, dogs can also detect when narcolepsy or diabetes patients are about to have an episode and warn them in advance. They can even detect the early stages of Parkinson's disease, giving people time to prepare. And with the current global pandemic, dogs can also detect COVID with a 94% success rate. This means that in the future, there might be a more convenient method for detecting diseases. Once again, this proves that animals are incredible.